So let's think about Pete Hegseth for a minute here, because I feel like the 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝗏 tweet about summed him up. He says, somewhat ironic that the least qualified, most unfit and incompetent Secretary of Defense in American history is the one who abolished DEI. And dude, this tweet couldn't be more accurate. Okay? Like, Pete Hegseth is way over his head. The guy's a newscaster. He had limited experience, even as a soldier. He never led any units. He would never got to an advanced rank. He wasn't a high-ranking officer that led, any significant size battalion into war. He's never managed a huge budget, except once he had a nonprofit that he managed that had a $2 million budget, and he bankrupted that thing in under 2 years. Okay. So the guy is not qualified in any way for that job. And yet he's got it, right? Which is the insane thing about the Trump administration, because they sit there and talk about meritocracy, and then they put everybody in the head jobs. They put people that shouldn't be working those jobs, that have no skill to actually do those jobs. Oh, shit, dude. All right.
Breaking news now on the Pentagon tonight. With a new report, the defense secretary shared military information about a U.S. strike in a private Signal group chat with family members and his lawyer, among others.
Family members.
Yamiche Alcindor is following this story for us. Yamiche, good evening.
That's right, Hallie. According to the New York Times, the defense secretary shared detailed military information about that strike, which happened back in March, in a separate private Signal chat that included his wife and about a dozen other people, including some Pentagon employees. The Times says he allegedly shared in this new chat similar information that he shared in the first Signal chat when the editor of The Atlantic was added by mistake. According to the Times, the information shared in this new chat includes flight schedules that were similar to the first chat that came to light. An administration official told the Times there was no national security breach and no new classified information was shared in this new chat.
These aren't even people that work at the Pentagon. This is his friends and family group chat. This is unreal. But they keep making a point of saying, there was no classified information. But when you are sharing flight schedules of F-18s storming an enemy, dude, that may as well be fucking classified. That's dangerous shit, man. That shit that could get pilots killed. You know what I'm saying? What are they doing, bro? The Hegseth stuff this is only going to be the beginning. Dude, he's going to make some fucking significant error somewhere. I mean, did you see the Charlie Kirk tweet? So check this out. So obviously, the Hegseth thing is going crazy because Pete Hegseth shared Yemen strike details with his wife and his brother. But now watch this, because there's a Charlie Kirk tweet about Pete Hegseth that I think is really important to realize the level of delusion that we have here. So, dude, the Pentagon is in total chaos. Pete Hegseth is unlikely to remain in his role, according to its former top spokesperson, who painted a scene of dysfunction, backstabbing, and continuous missteps at the highest levels of the department. So the thing that's crazy about this is, like I said, Hegseth is a news commentator with a drinking problem. He was in way over his head. But what's interesting about it is the schism between reality and between the MAGA sort of pie in the sky idea that they have about their movement and their people. Because if you look at these articles, you see that these guys are they're a disaster. It is a high-level scandal, and everybody now knows Pete Hegseth needs to be removed. Something is going on. He's way in above his head, or he's doing this shit when he's drunk on the job. Something is going on. Now, whether he gets removed or not, or whether a whole bunch of chaos happens before he ultimately gets removed, we don't know. But I want to show you what the MAGA spin is, because here's where it gets crazy. Everybody that has worked in any type of intelligence knows this is a crisis. This is a scandal. This is a huge problem. But then what you do is you have the MAGA spin. And Charlie Kirk, look at this tweet. He says, when they come after Pete Hegseth, just remember everything they don't want to talk about. Recruiting is up. Morale is up. Standards is up. Efficiency is up. America's influence is up. And most importantly, lethality is up. What's down? Only the influence of neocons and warmongers and the use of the military to promote politicized nonsense. That's what they want back. It's not about some signal chat. So now the irony of this is, first off, Charlie Kirk certainly would have a massive problem if Biden's guys were using a signal chat. We all know this. But I found it particularly funny about this because Pete Hegseth has been in the job for 2 months, which means there's not even any new recruits yet that have come. Like basic training, there is nobody who has even signed up for basic training since Pete Hegseth got this job that has actually completed basic training and has had time to affect any of the shit on this list. The efficiency, the lethality, right? It's been 2 months, bro. What have they done, dude? They haven't done anything in 2 months. He acts like Pete Hegseth went in there and pushed the button and it was like severance. And, 10,000 new guys just walked in. Oh, shit. Hey, let's go. Let's kill. Right? Dude, there's like anybody who is recruited has not even finished basic training. This tweet is nonsense. And that's why I replied. I was like, dude, in 2 months, none of that has happened. Oh, but we do have 7 dead soldiers already. We got 7 dead soldiers in that 2 months, right? That's what we do have. The lethality is up if you count the 3 soldiers who died in that plane crash and then the 4 that died in the training exercise. So we have literally 7 dead soldiers. That's more than half of, Afghanistan, the dreaded Afghanistan, except this is in 2 months and we're not even in combat. And he's almost killed as many soldiers. He didn't personally kill them, but you know what I mean. Almost as many soldiers have died under his watch as Afghanistan. That is crazy. But they don't care about the signal chat, right? Oh, Lord. What the bro? That shit is comedy. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, dude, the guy who got tased. Did you hear about that at Marjorie Taylor Greene's thing? The guy who got tased was a veteran. The guy who got tased, right here, dude. Man stunned during Marjorie Taylor Greene's town hall is a Marine veteran. Semper Fi, bro. Oh my God, dude. Fucking they tased a Marine, dude. Welcome to Pete Hegseth's DOD, where the Marines are getting tased at the dude, they're just like completely inept. The attorney for a Dallas man arrested during the protest of MTG's town hall is demanding prosecutors dismiss his charges. Johnny Keith Williams' attorney claims his client was not treated for his injuries after he was shot with a taser during the meeting earlier this week. Oh my God. Dude, 3 people were arrested, 6 others were escorted out of the building, and 1 Marine was tased. Dude, they're so dumb. Okay? Dude, Johnny Keith Williams. Oh my God, dude. There he is. That's the guy, dude. The attorney said his client, who was honorably discharged from the Marines, came to the meeting to learn how Green was working toward improving access to health care for veterans. After he was shot by a taser and arrested, Rodriguez claimed that Williams was not treated at a hospital for his injuries, remained in custody without bond for 36 hours. Mr. Williams was an undeserving victim of such violence, unlawful use of force, physical injuries, and reputational harm. We are committed to stopping any further injustices and harm done to Mr. Williams perpetrated by the government. Oh my God. Jesus. Oh shit.
Multiple sources tell CNN Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth revealed attack plans for airstrikes on Houthi rebels in Yemen in another signal chat. This one included his wife, brother, and personal attorney. Now, this second signal chat is in addition to the one Hegseth used to communicate about military plans with cabinet officials last month that is now under investigation by the Defense Department's acting inspector general. I want to go straight to CNN's Kevin Liptak, who is at the White House for more on this. Kevin, what are we learning about this?
Yeah, and if this all sounds sort of reminiscent of that scandal that engulfed the administration about a month ago, it should, because the Secretary of Defense, we are now learning, shared very similar details about the U.S. attack plans on the Houthi rebels in Yemen on a second signal group. And we understand that this included things like takeoff times for some of those fighter jets as they were preparing to strike those targets in Yemen. The big difference here is who comprised each of these signal groups, because remember that first time around that
dude, it's hard to take this seriously, because I mean, I thought it was a huge scandal when they added the reporter. Okay, you know what I'm saying? The reporter, I mean, first off, even the first time around, those guys didn't need to be in that chat. You had Marco Rubio, right? You had like secretaries of departments that had no reason to have that information. And they're just shooting the shit and like sending emojis to each other after the military strike. But now what he's doing is he's like talking to his wife about it and his brother. Like, hey, bro, dude, what the
Dude. Was created by the National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. It was intended to coordinate this attack with members of the cabinet officials who were in top national security positions in the administration, and he inadvertently included the journalist Jeffrey Goldberg. This new signal group that we are just learning about this evening included some members of Pete Hegseth's inner circle who are, it's not clear what reason they would have to have this information about the strikes
Very
that the
not
U.S.
clear.
was planning to carry out. It included his brother and his personal attorney. They both work at the Pentagon. It's not clear whether they have security clearances. It also included his wife, Jennifer, who has accompanied him previously in
Good
meetings
name.
With other foreign officials,
We like
which
the name.
has raised some eyebrows among certain officials.
My girlfriend's name is Jennifer, Jenny, but we like the name.
At the Pentagon.
We'll let
now,
that,
as you mentioned,
let that go.
That original signal sort of snafu is now being investigated by the Inspector General at the Pentagon. It's not clear whether this latest revelation will be included in the review. The Pentagon officially has not commented on these latest revelations, which I should note were first reported by the New York Times. But this does punctuate a period of chaos inside the Pentagon and inside the inner circle of Pete Hegseth. You'll remember just last week, senior officials who were in sort of his front office at the Pentagon were fired essentially for what officials described as a leak investigation. And this is all sort of drawing questions, including from some loyalists, some allies of Pete Hegseth, at how this chaos has been allowed to perpetuate. We just heard from John Ulyat, who until recently was Pete Hegseth's press secretary at the Pentagon. He says that it's been a month of total chaos at the Pentagon, from leaks of sensitive operational plans to mass firings. The dysfunction is now a major distraction for the president, who deserves better from his senior leadership. 𝗙𝗢𝗪 goes on to say even strong backers of the secretary, like me, must admit the last month has been a full-blown meltdown at the Pentagon, and it's becoming a real problem for the administration.
Yikes.
Part of the problem, of course, is that this is not sort of a quiet period for national security. You have Pete Hegseth making sort of preparations on the president's command, these designs on the Panama Canal. He was just there visiting earlier this month. You also have this buildup of U.S. assets in the Middle East in preparation for a potential Israeli strike on Iran. You also have tensions in Asia. So this is a fraught period.
Dude, it's crazy
for the Pentagon to be undergoing this period.
Yeah, there's so much going on, right? There's so much going on with these guys militarily. And Pete's, getting drunk. See, I wonder if he's drinking, right? You know what I'm saying? Doesn't it seem like this is something that a person who is drunk would do? They would make decisions like that. Oh, let's get team huddle together. I mean, it's possible he's doing it sober, but I would almost bet that he was liquored up. You don't think he ever stopped? No, he definitely never stopped. As somebody, I know about alcoholism. I'll be 18 years sober in June. Let me just tell you, when you say you're going to quit and you get that big promotion, you got that big new responsibility, dude, that shit just makes it worse. There's no fucking chance, right? I'll stop drinking day one of the highest pressured job that I'm not even remotely qualified to handle. Yeah, that's going to happen. Dude, I bet he was fucking hammered. I bet he's drunk. And just like, dude, it seems like the type of lack of judgment you would make, where you would do something like that when you're a little schnockered and you just don't think about it. You just don't think it's a bad idea because you're impaired. I can tell you, I used to wake up. I'd come home from the bar at like 4 a.m. I would wake up in the morning with the cordless phone in my bed. And I'd be like, bro, who did I call last night? And I'd spend all morning calling people and trying to figure out who I fucking called at 4 a.m, 5 a.m, and what I said to them. Dude, it's just, it's the life
of chaos. And certainly, I think now you'll hear from officials who are questioning whether Pete Hegseth is sort of the man for the job at this very fraught moment. I should also note that when those original war plans, attack plans, were shared in the Signal group, the administration and the White House and President Trump denied that there was anything classified contained in that information. Of course, that drew a lot of skepticism from almost every national security analyst that we talked to. Jessica.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, see, the crazy thing is even if there wasn't anything classified, it's going to happen. It's coming. You just know it is. It's fucking coming, because even around this classified, we know for a fact that the information, even the sort of like sideline information about like the times of the strikes and the flight path of the planes, that information was received in a skiff on government. Like, nobody sent Pete Hegseth a fucking text message of that. So at the very least, what's happening is Pete Hegseth is walking into a skiff and getting this top secret information, and he is walking out and putting some of that information in his fucking phone and disseminating it among his wife and his lawyer and his buddy and his friends, right? People that don't even work at the Pentagon. But even if it's not classified, it is information that he definitely got in a shut down, high security environment. Okay? It's not like somebody just texted him, oh, by the way, here's the time the planes are landing. Go in the skiff for all the details. It doesn't work like that. He's a disaster. He doesn't have the managerial skills. I honestly believe, I know Trump has been touting him as this warrior that all the enlisted men love, but I'll be honest, I don't think a lot of low-ranking military guys really look up to this guy much. I mean, there's some people across the street, the day he got confirmed, they changed their military flag to a solid piece of black cloth. They flew one of those like black cloth flags the day he got this job because they know he's not qualified. They do. They know. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.